Generally, people see someone who's homeless and they believe they just need shelter. That's what they're crying to. They just need shelter. But with Gleanings, we understand that just putting someone under a roof isn't exactly enough. It has to be a place they can call home, a place that they can get that comfort, safety, and privacy that, everyone deserves. They deserve a life that's rich in happiness. And you can't really achieve that if you're struggling to even house yourself, your children, put food on the table, pay all the bills that just go with regular. These aren't extravagant lifestyles we're talking about. These are just people trying to pay their electric and water bill.
I think one of the things that I didn't expect when, starting this whole process of being an affordable housing nonprofit is really all that kind of goes into affordable housing from a, I don't know if you'd say like government standpoint or just the actual like bylaws and policies and hoops and codes and everything else that goes into building housing to applying for grants. All of that different kind of stuff really stood out to me, and just the amount of almost, I guess, capacity that goes into it. The idea that as an affordable housing nonprofit, to qualify for a lot of grants, you actually have to be profitable really stands out to me, just in the idea of like how affordable housing is run. I think that's really just surprising and in some ways kind of shocking.
So something I've learned about the community in general while I've been serving with Gleanings is really about the state of affordable housing in Lexington. I've been fortunate enough to be able to afford places I've lived, and I've not been in that position where I'm really struggling to find it. And it's really been eye-opening to see some of the statistics and see how hard it is for people to find housing and how expensive it really is, and what do we consider affordable housing. That has been a really surprising thing that has really served as a call to action for me.
I knew there was a need, but I don't think I realized just how strong that need is in Central Kentucky, and that we've had so many people that have reached out that are looking for affordable housing. I just didn't expect that need to be quite so significant, and it's really made a big impression on me.
There is a lot of zoning. There are a lot of codes that have to be abided by. You don't simply do anything. You ask permission for almost every step. And so it can be difficult.
It's difficult enough for people with the state of the economy in general. So if we can do anything to alleviate some of that burden, we have an obligation to do it.
Everything that we do in our community matters, and it affects people individually. It's not just, oh, well, that's a governmental problem or that's an individual problem. Most problems when it comes to housing, it's all of our problem. We really all have to take a stake in what's going on around us.
My favorite thing about serving with Gleanings is absolutely the people that are involved with it, just the other members of the board and everybody who's worked around us to help us accomplish our mission. They're very dedicated people who are willing to put the betterment of the community ahead of themselves. And it's just amazing to me how this group of people has been able to come together to build something bigger.
People are really generous when it comes to helping others, even more generous than they realize initially, because they might start off giving $5 and then the next thing they've given $1,000 because they realize the effect that it's having on someone else.
I know that when we get into board meetings and we're talking, sometimes we can lose focus for a few minutes, and we have silly moments where we call each other out, or there's just a real sense of camaraderie with everybody that's on the board. So there's also a deep friendship with everybody that serves. I think that might be one of my favorite things about being on the board, is just being there and seeing each other, and knowing that we are pulling together for a common goal.
What Gleanings Housing means to me is bringing the community together to serve a larger purpose. We don't think about the people who need help nearly as much as we should, and it really means building and fostering that community that we can grow and thrive together.
Gleanings, why I think it's so important is really just the fact that it is reaching people who need help, who need assistance, who otherwise wouldn't get it. When you look at a lot of affordable housing, you see the fact that affordable housing doesn't really mean it's affordable. If you're still having to pay 60, 70, 80% of your rent or your income towards rent, it's not affordable anymore. And so to me, I think one of the important things about Gleanings is just the fact that we get to come together as a community, as individuals to support and build something that goes beyond us, that goes into impacting people and changing their lives forever. And so Gleanings to me really just means it's that opportunity for us to, whether it be living out our faith or just trying to make a better community, it's that opportunity that you wouldn't get otherwise.
The key moment for me was being on site the day we put the first wall up at the McGoffin triplex. It was just such a monumental moment. Yes, we had dug the hole, we had poured the foundation, but that moment when that first wall goes up and you realize there's really going to be a house here, it was really exciting. And to see all the people who put in a lot of hard work to make that happen. We
have goals and we have objectives, and we have gotten better direction in the last few years. And so from the perspective of the first 2 years, we're kind of us just wandering around in the dark. And over the last year, we've really become better organized. We have very clear objectives of what we want to achieve. And I think that focus has really helped us move things along in what we're trying to achieve. The planning and the commitment that we put into this has really, it's really brought us a long way. And I know we will continue to grow, and I hope we grow with more people. But I think we have really good leadership, and that leadership has led us to developing some really good goals and objectives.
One of the things that really excites me for the future of Gleanings Housing is not only the completion of the McGoffin triplex, right? The fact that we have been working on that since 2021, to see that come to fruition is really amazing. But also the idea that it doesn't necessarily stop there. Once we get that going, we get to, have families. We get to have people who are actually impacted by this property, who get to live there, that we get to build connection with, and that we get to just show love to.
Upcoming year, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't take a full year, but finishing the McGoffin triplex is going to be a huge thing for us when we've got that first property that we completely have built and have gotten moving. And honestly, I'm excited to look at what the next project is. We've got lofty goals, and we're not stopping at one triplex. So what are we building next? What are we rehabbing next? Where is this mission going?
So there's a big part that gets left out of the homelessness situation in Lexington, and it's the fact that they need so much more. They need case management. They need connection to resources within an area in which they can travel, because most people, if they're struggling to pay their rent, they probably don't have transportation. So they're utilizing public transportation. So I think Gleanings understands better than most that we're meant to bring people into a home, not just shelter them for a typical period of time. We're trying to provide them a home.
Thank you to everyone who has volunteered and contributed. We could not have done it without you.